What if your closest friend is secretly plotting your downfall? The one who listens to your secrets, shares your laughter, and stands by you through everything. Could they be hiding a vengeful plot, waiting for the perfect moment to betray you? Alfred Adler, the pioneer of individual psychology, warned that some people mask their darkness with trust, their grudges simmering beneath a friendly facade. That sinking feeling when their smile feels forced, when their words carry a hidden edge. It's not just doubt. It's a warning to protect yourself before their betrayal strikes. This is the true story of Sarah, a trusting friend whose vengeful plot shattered a close bond, turning loyalty into a nightmare. In this video, we'll unravel how Sarah hid her sinister intent, how a hidden diary exposed her plan, and what psychology reveals about psychopaths who harbor grudges. Stay with us because by the end, you'll know how to recognize these toxic friends, protect your sanity, and escape their betrayal. Have you ever trusted a friend, only to feel something was off? Let's uncover the unbelievable truth together. It was a crisp autumn afternoon in a small town, the kind of place where everyone knows each other, and friendships feel like family. Emily and Sarah had been inseparable for years, their bond forged through late-night talks, shared dreams, and countless memories. Sarah was the friend everyone wanted, thoughtful, always there with a listening ear, her laughter warm, her advice sharp. She'd bring Emily coffee on rough days, text her funny memes, and plan game nights that lit up their circle of friends. "You're like my sister," Sarah would say, her eyes soft, her smile genuine, or so Emily thought. But beneath Sarah's warmth, a vengeful plot was brewing, sparked by a moment so small it seemed insignificant. Have you ever wondered what secrets your closest friend might hide? It started with a missed lunch date. Emily had been swamped at work, juggling deadlines, and forgot to meet Sarah at their favorite cafe. She apologized profusely, texting, "I'm so sorry. Let me make it up to you." Sarah replied, "No worries, life happens," her tone light, her emoji a smile. But Emily noticed a shift. Sarah's texts grew shorter, her laughter less frequent. At their next game night, Sarah was quieter, her eyes lingering on Emily with a strange intensity. "Everything okay?" Emily asked, her voice hesitant. "Of course," Sarah said, her smile tight, her fingers gripping her wine glass a little too hard. Emily brushed it off, blaming her own stress. But the unease lingered. Have you ever felt a friend's warmth turn cold for no reason? The signs grew harder to ignore. Their mutual friend, Jake, mentioned something odd. "Sarah asked a lot about your new job," he said, frowning. "Like really detailed stuff. Your hours, your boss's name. I thought it was weird." Emily laughed it off, saying, "She's just curious," but her stomach twisted. Then their friend Mia pulled Emily aside after a group dinner. "Sarah's been talking about you," Mia whispered. "She said you've changed, that you're too busy for her now. It didn't sound like her." Emily's heart sank. Sarah had always been her rock. Why would she say that? She confronted Sarah gently, saying, "Hey, are we okay? I heard you're upset." Sarah's face softened, her voice smooth. "Mia must have misunderstood. You know I'd never say that." But her eyes didn't match her words, cold and distant like a mask slipping. Have you ever sensed a friend's betrayal before you saw proof? The truth came to light by accident. Emily was at Sarah's apartment, helping her pack for a move. While sorting through a box, Emily found a small, leather-bound diary tucked under some clothes. Curious, she opened it, thinking it was an old journal. But the words inside froze her blood. Pages were filled with Sarah's neat handwriting, detailing a vengeful plot to ruin Emily's life. "She thinks she's better than me," one entry read, dated the day after the missed lunch. "I'll make her pay. Her job, her friends, her reputation." The diary outlined steps, spreading rumors about Emily's work ethic, planting doubts with mutual friends, even drafting an anonymous email to Emily's boss accusing her of slacking. Sarah had written, "She'll lose everything, and she'll never see it coming." Emily's hands shook as she read, her heart pounding. Her best friend, her confidant, was plotting her destruction over a forgotten lunch. Have you ever discovered a betrayal that broke your trust? Emily didn't confront Sarah right away. She was too stunned. Instead, she confided in Jake and Mia, showing them the diary. "This isn't the Sarah we know," Jake said, his voice heavy. "Or maybe it is," Mia added, her eyes wide. They urged Emily to go to the police, but Emily hesitated. Sarah hadn't acted yet. Still, she photographed every page of the diary, her hands trembling as she documented the evidence. When she finally confronted Sarah, it was at a quiet cafe away from their friends. "I found your diary," Emily said, her voice steady despite her fear. Sarah's smile vanished, her face blank. "You went through my stuff?" she asked, her tone icy. "That's private." She didn't deny the plot, didn't apologize, just stared, her eyes cold, unyielding. "You hurt me first," she finally said, her voice low. That's when Emily knew. Sarah's trust was a lie, her friendship a vengeful facade. Have you ever seen a friend's true face and wished you hadn't? The aftermath was chaos. Emily distanced herself, warning their friends about Sarah's plot. Some believed her, others didn't, torn by Sarah's charm. Sarah played the victim, telling the group, "Emily's overreacting, she's the one who betrayed me." But the diary's evidence was undeniable, and slowly their circle pulled away from Sarah. Emily's boss received the anonymous email, but Emily had already shown her the diary photos, explaining everything. The police couldn't charge Sarah without a concrete act, but they issued a warning, noting her history of petty disputes in another town. Sarah moved away soon after, leaving a fractured group of friends and Emily's trust in tatters. "I thought I knew her," Emily told Jake, her voice hollow. "How could I miss this?" The quiet town was no longer a safe haven. It was a reminder that even the closest friend can hide a vengeful plot. Have you ever lost a friendship to betrayal? Let's analyze what made Sarah so dangerous. Psychopaths, like Sarah, are masters at hiding their true nature, using trust as a weapon to mask their grudges. According to 2025 psychological research, about 1 in 25 people exhibit psychopathic traits, blending into everyday life as friends, co-workers, or partners. Dr. Robert Hare, a leading expert, describes psychopaths as lacking empathy, harboring grudges without remorse, and planning revenge with chilling precision. Sarah's diary, detailing her vengeful plot over a minor slight, fits this profile perfectly. Her charm was a facade, her friendship a tool to manipulate Emily. Have you ever trusted someone whose kindness felt too perfect? Psychopaths excel at what researchers call masked manipulation, using trust to disarm their targets. Sarah's support, her coffee runs, her game nights, wasn't genuine. It was a way to gain Emily's confidence, to learn her vulnerabilities. Her questions about Emily's job, her probing into her life, weren't curiosity. They were reconnaissance. 2025 studies show that psychopaths often fixate on perceived slights, like Emily's missed lunch, inflating them into reasons for revenge. This stems from their lack of social interest, an Adlerian concept where individuals prioritize personal gain over community. Sarah's grudge wasn't about a lunch. It was about her need to feel superior, to punish Emily for a slight only Sarah felt. Have you ever noticed someone holding on to a grudge that seemed small? Another key trait is their obsessive planning. Sarah's diary wasn't a spur-of-the-moment rant. It was a calculated plan, mapping out steps to destroy Emily's life. Recent research highlights that psychopaths are strategic, their lack of conscience allowing them to plot without guilt. Adler's idea of the inferiority complex applies here. Sarah's vengeful plot was a way to mask her own insecurities, to feel powerful by tearing Emily down. Her cold response during the confrontation, "You hurt me first," shows no remorse, a hallmark of psychopathy. Her ability to hide this behind a trusting facade made her betrayal even more dangerous. Have you ever been shocked by someone's lack of guilt after hurting you? So, how do you spot a psychopath like Sarah before their vengeful plot unfolds? Look for inconsistencies in their behavior. Sarah's warmth turned cold after the slight, her smile forced, her questions too probing. Watch for signs of grudges. Do they bring up old slights even jokingly? Do they react poorly when you set boundaries? Psychopaths often mimic emotions, but their eyes stay cold, their apologies hollow. Sarah's no worries text after the missed lunch didn't match her distant demeanor. A red flag. Trust your instincts. If a friend's kindness feels rehearsed, it might be. Have you ever felt a friend's warmth was a mask? To protect yourself, set boundaries early. Don't share sensitive details like your job struggles or personal plans with someone until their trust is proven. If Sarah asks too much about your life, deflect with vague answers like, "Things are fine, just keeping busy." Document suspicious behavior. Save texts, emails, or notes about odd interactions, including dates and times. Emily's photos of the diary saved her reputation. Your evidence could save you. Keep your circle small and talk to mutual friends if you sense betrayal brewing. If a friend's behavior feels off, don't ignore it. Distance yourself before their plot unfolds. Have you ever sensed a friend's resentment building behind their smile? Friendship safety is about vigilance, not paranoia. Psychopaths like Sarah thrive because we assume friends share our values, our loyalty. But as Martha Stout notes in The Sociopath Next Door, psychopaths lack the empathy that binds us, allowing them to betray without blinking. They're not always criminals. Most live among us, hiding their vengeful plots behind trust. Sarah wasn't caught because she acted. She was caught because Emily trusted her gut and found evidence. You can do the same. Watch for red flags, protect your boundaries, and don't let a friend's charm blind you to their betrayal. Have you ever wondered what secrets your closest friend might be hiding? Let's wrap this up. Sarah seemed like the perfect friend, supportive, warm, a sister in all but name. But her vengeful plot hidden in a diary revealed a psychopath who used trust to mask her intent to destroy. Her story is a warning. The friends you rely on, the ones who know your secrets, could be harboring grudges that threaten your sanity, your relationships, your life. Alfred Adler warned us about these toxic traits, and 2025 psychology confirms they're closer than we think. They hide their plots with smiles, manipulate with kindness, and strike with betrayal. But you have the power to protect yourself. Trust your instincts. If a friend's warmth feels forced, if their questions feel probing, don't ignore it. Document red flags, set boundaries, and stay vigilant. The truth about Sarah shocked Emily's world, but it doesn't have to shock yours. Maybe you're thinking of a friend right now, someone whose kindness feels off, whose resentment lingers beneath the surface. Have you ever felt betrayed by someone you trusted completely? Share your story in the comments. Tell us about the friend who turned on you, the betrayal that broke your heart. Your experience could help someone else spot the danger before it's too late. If you want to dive deeper into true crime betrayals, dark psychology stories, and how to protect yourself from hidden grudges, hit that subscribe button. Danger. Radar is here to unmask the threats in your friendships, to guide you through the dangers hiding in plain sight. Don't let a psychopath's betrayal destroy you. Protect yourself now, stay sharp, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.